Muy buenos días. Marcelo Burgos de Telefuturo, Asunción, Paraguay.
Good morning, Marcelo Burgos,
Profe, no
Telefuturo,
te quiero
Asunción,
preguntar por el equipo,
Paraguay.
pero sí me
Coach, I don't
gustaría
want to ask
saber si
about the
es que
lineup,
el rival amerita
but
un cambio de esquema
I would
de lo
like
que
to
se
know
vio
if the
ante
opponent
Colombia, si es eso lo que se está
asks
preparando.
for a
Y para
modification
Fabián,
in
bueno,
the game
preguntar sobre la
plan
capitanía. Se
in
viralizó una
comparison to the
imagen
one against
en donde
Colombia.
viste
And
a Vinicius
Fabian,
y no puedo negar que a mucha gente le
about
gustó
the
el liderazgo.
captainship.
Quiero saber esa experiencia también.
There was one image that we saw with Enciso, and many people liked the level of leadership. What is your take on that? Good morning, everyone. We have to be cautious of the opponent. They have high-level performers, and we have to be organized as we were in the last match, and we need to be a bit more aggressive, something that was missing in the first half. In the second half, we corrected that and we were able to create opportunities, so we will come out on the field in an orderly fashion, but always thinking about hurting the opponent. Well, I think it's a detail. Captainship doesn't change anything. We have several captains on the pitch. Wearing an armband doesn't make a difference. We always try to do our best. And what you mentioned about a picture with Julio, that happens in every match. Me, all my teammates do that. We always do that. We want the team to do well. Agencia para for both. I know it's easy to ask and tough to answer, but with players such as Vinicius that will be there tomorrow, how will you set up the defense to challenge him? Well, Brazil has great individual talent. As a squad, we will try to reduce the spaces so that they don't have the chance of spreading their play, and obviously trying to transition fast, aggressively, to generate situations, and obviously finding the net. Every national team has disruptive players. Brazil has great top scorers in their forwards, but, well, of course, teaming up and working together in the markings, trying to counter that through man marking. Radio Monumental. Well, you were highlighting the organization in Colombia, but also that there's a need to be more aggressive. Does this mean you will have wing backs with no offensive nature? Because it's more natural to have maybe right wing back that can join them in the attack. Maybe Velázquez. And in the case of Mourinho, it wasn't confirmed. Coronel seemed that they were going to go as goalkeepers, but then Morinigo was the goalkeeper. Well, we know Rodrigo very well. I will start with the last part of your question. And we knew that he was going to perform to our demands, and we want to increase the level of confidence in the case of Carlos, but it was a technical decision to put Rodrigo as a starter. Well, and as regards the first part, we had some difficulties in the first half, but after the modifications in the second half, we were more aggressive. We got to the box. We had the chances. I think we need to be a bit more at ease for the last pass. And of course, that can be achieved with effectiveness. And once we achieve that, that will provide the players with the security and the confidence that they need to achieve the result we're after.
Conoces muy bien el fútbol brasileño y a Brasil necesitas ganar mañana, así
Globo
como
Brazil.
para tener chances de estar en primero del grupo.
Do you need to win tomorrow against Brazil? Do you see it as a final in order to move on to the next stage? How do you take on this urgency, Fabian? Well, we know that both Brazil and Colombia and many other South American national teams are complicated opponents, so we'll try to play in an organized manner with the midfield and try to find the spaces so that we can get the 3 points. May I? Can I ask again in Portuguese, since you speak Portuguese? The fact that you played in Brazil, can it be said that you understand the mindset very well, the performance of the Brazilian player, and that fact could be an advantage? And there are many Paraguayan players that play currently or that played in Brazil. In Brazil, we know the quality and skills of the Paraguayan player. So directly, I want to ask, is it all on the pitch clear to everyone? Well, I'll answer in Spanish. In these high-performance football, is elite football, we know each other very well. Brazil knows Paraguay and vice versa. And the fact that I played many years in Brazil might help us or might help me a little bit with the language, but I think that most of the players in Brazil's national team play overseas, and that is not a minor detail. But on the pitch, it is 11v11, regardless of the qualities or skills. We will try to counter with all our weapons. Nelson Rivera for Canal 13, Daniel Fabian. Coach, you said you had a positive feeling after the second half where you subbed out Almirón and Caballero, and those feelings are decisive for the lineup tomorrow. And then a question for Fabian. Well, those feelings did not arise only after the second half. We played against an opponent that has great control of the ball, and there were differences, particularly in the effectiveness, but it wasn't an agonizing match. We were not able to finish the scoring. We need to be more calm when finishing our plays. So if we get that confidence to manage and execute our game plan, it will be great. Fabian, you're playing as with a backline of 3 or 5. How do you see the defensive work? Will that be positive to close the spaces against forwards such as Rodrigo and Vinicius that are always trying to find spaces where they can't be found? Well, I think in the defense, me and and any player that team ups with me, whatever the game plan, we feel fine. Of course, if you play with a line of 5, you'll have less midfielders, but it will depend, and we'll try to do our best regardless of the formation, and always bearing in mind that the main objective is to win. Daniel, a question for you and then for Fabian. First, how is Alderete doing? Because when he was at the mixed zone after the locker room, we saw that he was showing some discomfort. Is he recovered? Yes. There were many players that were feeling some discomfort after the match, but all the roster is available. Fabian, this is the Copa America tournament, but it is confirmed that you are going to the Olympic Games, right? And is it different to play with another center back or with a line of 3? Well, first, I am fully focused on Copa America right now. And of course, as a defender, you feel more secure in the box when you have more players next to you, but it doesn't change. Regardless of the formation, we can do. We are used to play with a backline of four as defenders in clubs or in the national team, but these are details. They don't. There's no major differences. The main objective is to do well, and we'll follow the instructions of the coach. Hello, Coach. Marina Granciera for the Caracol TV. This is a match against Brazil in the Copa America. Everyone will be watching, and it is a different match for the players, mindset-wise. So have you analyzed videos and tactics, and is there any work you're doing for the mindset, thinking that Brazil is a very particular opponent? Yes, it is different as a match, but we are going to take it on with the urgency it demands, and we know it's a tough opponent with high-level players, and we'll try to be at our best to achieve the result. We need a victory. Any other question?
¿Qué tal? Hugo Ramírez, de Televisa de México.
Hugo Ramírez, Televisa, México, for Fabian. I understand this is a similar process between Paraguay and Brazil, between Daniel and Dorival as head coaches.
Una victoria mañana ante Brasil los pondría ellos contra la lona y ustedes obviamente con amplias posibilidades.
I think that winning against Brazil would submerge Brazil in a negative streak. And what would that mean for Paraguay, Fabian, and maybe reverting this situation? Thank you very much. Well, in this type of match, we need to play with a level. We have to be level-minded. We have to be confident, and this is what we're working on. We know Brazil has high-quality players. We respect that, but we also have skillful and talented players that are having great seasons in their clubs, and we want to bring that level to the national team. Hopefully, that will be the case for this match. And Coach, on the right flank, you had Almiron. In the case that Miguel isn't on the pitch, do you feel that Ramon or Julio will be more comfortable? Both play on the left, and Julio sometimes even behind the center forward. Who will you put in that flank? Well, today we're going to disclose the lineup to the team, and then we will define. There are many options for that position, but I fully trust that we can make an improvement individually and collectively. We had a great match. It wasn't enough. We are not being able to win, but we will insist with modifications so that we can achieve a win. And of course, there's a certain level of nervousness in the players, and I think we will be able to modify that, generating confidence and security. That is what we need. Question for both. Daniel, in line with your answer, the adverse effect is that it affects the mindset of the players. Against Colombia, we're able to see that. Does the mindset affect the competitiveness or the competition level? Are you working on that? And it is a hard hit when we concede goals, right? I think that used to be the case, and I didn't see that last match. I think it was an even match, and we had more opportunities than Colombia until the first goal. Of course, it is a hard hit when you concede a goal, but the players continued at the same level. Then we saw the second goal against an opponent such as Colombia. That could have been a turning point for the mindset of the team, but I didn't see that. I saw a team that went back onto the pitch and that pressured up high. We have players like Luis Diaz. He interrupted many plays of the opponent, and I think that, of course, when you finish a match and you weren't successful, it can bring you down, but the team continued competing and was aggressive. Well, I agree with the coach. When you concede a goal and you have been playing in the way we were playing, it's hard, but we wanted to continue trying. We wanted to continue to find the equalizer, or reduce the deficit. But as the coach mentioned, we went back to the pitch trying to keep up the pressure and to play up high. And I think we did well in the second half. I will be asking in Portuguese. Fabian, you have a very close relation and a deep bond with Brazil. I remember that in Brazil, all your work with the Corinthians, and even as up to last year, you were playing very lively in Corinthians, and Romero, one of your teammates, is still there. Do you discuss the crisis of the club? Because it's something very recent in your life and for many years. Do you and Romero discuss the current crisis in Brazil and the performance of Brazil in the tournament? We do talk about the current situation in the club. I have many friends there. I watched the matches. Yesterday I watched, and we know that the situation is not easy, but I think they will be able to overcome these difficulties, and that with the current players they will be able to perform and do better. Well, Julio Enciso was feeling well in the mixed zone. That is something we were able to see after that first goal. But we also saw some football leadership. Do you think that he is up to the task on the left flank, or that maybe he can be more free in his movements, in particular with a Brazilian national team that opens more spaces? Do you think he will be free to create opportunities tomorrow? Julio feels better in that flank, and he has the chance of playing in different clubs. He played in Brighton in some matches on the left flank, but he feels better when he can play loose, so that could be an option. Noelia Roman for Relevo in Spain. A question for both of you. I'd like to know how you are working in this temperature with the heat. Is this modifying your initial plan, and is it complicated to adapt to other pitch situations or conditions? Yes, we had to modify our plan. The heat in the training sessions is too much. It's very intense. There's a great difference when you play in the shades or under the sunlight. The sunset is at 8, it's very late, but well, we made modifications because it was necessary. After competing, they need to recover, and we cannot demand too much at this temperature. So yes. Well, of course, it changes a little bit. You have to hydrate more and schedule as well, as the coach was saying, the training sessions and the pitch. And we played on a pitch that wasn't in great condition the last match, but it is the same pitch for both teams. So in order to showcase a better football, I think the pitch should be better. Well, this is the end of the press conference. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much.